Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And, of course, you can subscribe to the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network by going to either Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, Stitcher.com, or TuneIn.com. We thank you very much for joining us each and every week as we continue to bring you the coverage of the best boxing in the world. And we're having some great events coming up. We just finished the Magnificent Mail on the Beltway. We'll recap the last few cards that took place and bouts that took place during the Magnificent Mail on the Beltway. And we will preview the Cynation Sports card, the King of the Ring 2 card. That'll take place on Saturday, June 1st. That's tomorrow as we record this. And we'll also give you the entire June schedule right here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes, which is brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, where she has great weight loss tips. You can do it without dieting, eating real food along the way. She also sells wonderful jewelry on her site. Let's go to Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Well, this week, we're finishing up the Magnificent Mail on the Beltway. We had a really nice weekend this past Saturday at the MGM National Harbor Casino in Knox Hill, Maryland. The Matchroom Boxing Devin Haney Promotions card that took place on that evening, and a surprisingly good crowd on hand for this card. I really wasn't sure that we have a nice crowd, but by the end of the night, it was a really solid crowd there at the MGM National Harbor. It's just a great place to watch boxing. It really is. And every time we've been there, it has been out there. We've had really solid crowds and enthusiastic crowds. And they were enthusiastic for the main event. That was Devin Haney, the Dream out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He had one of the most crushing knockouts I've seen in recent memory. 7-round knockout over Antonio Tono Moran of Mexico City, Mexico. He regained the WBC International and WBO Intercontinental titles, won the vacant WBA International Championship. It was a crushing shot. I mean, overhand right sent Moran to the canvas. It was beautiful. Juan Marsh and I really did the recap on Boxing on Beltway post-fight wrap-up show. But just to look back on that, it was a great night there. Great win for Devin Haney. Great win for our Beltway boxer Lorenzo Truck Simpson. Tough loss for Mac Allison the fourth on that card. Mac Allison, Poppy Allison the fourth. He had a tough loss there. Fought well, but really just did not get going there. But I also want to talk about, now quite frankly, they didn't do a lot of promotion for this card, really. And from what I've heard, Matchroom Boxing doesn't do a boatload of promotion to begin with, which is kind of weird. They send out press releases, but they don't really do a whole lot of quote unquote promotion in the strictest sense of the word. However, they did something very nice the day before during the weigh-in. It was a really hot day, beautiful day outside, and they decided, kind of last minute on late Thursday, to have the weigh-in, which was on that Friday, outdoors at a tent that was near the Ferris wheel they have there, the giant Ferris wheel they have in National Harbor in Oxon Hill. And it was a lovely event. It was really cool. The fans could come by and watch. Not fans, but people could go by and watch. Some were fans. Some were people who had never heard of these guys and just wanted to see what was going on. But suffice to say, it was a great day. I mean, it really was. I mean, they had a lot of people, onlookers, and who knows, maybe some of those onlookers who just came by just to see what was going on ended up buying tickets and ended up coming to the card the next night. I don't know, but it was a great idea. I tell you, I can't remember in 36 years of doing this that we ever had an outdoor weigh-in for a pro show. Now, I know we had one for an amateur show a couple years ago at the Horseshoe Casino, and that was primarily because the kids that were involved, was an amateur show, and the kids could not go into the casino, so they had to do it outdoors. But other than that, never for a pro show. Not that I can remember. And I asked people who've been around as long as I have and some longer than I have, and they can't remember it happening. So it was really nice, and it's something that maybe other people who come to National Harbor, especially during the summer months, may want to take advantage of. And because it was a great event, This is my first time being really inside National Harbor as far as the location's concerned. I'd never been. I think I'd been to the Gaylord one time, but other than that, I had never been inside National Harbor where all the shops are and the attractions are. And it was beautiful. It was just great all the way around. It looked nice. It was a well done weigh-in with both David Diamante and Michael Buffer handling the honors as the announcers. And it was just a great night. It really was. A great day, I should say. Great day. Very nice day. So it was great. That was a great. Now, I'm sure it boosted some of their attendance on Saturday. So other promoters take note. You want to do something like that. I think it's a good idea. Idea's time has come, so to speak. So that's the Oxon Hill card. Again, Juan Marshall and I did the post-fight episode immediately following the card. So if you want to find out what we thought about the card, you can go ahead and listen to that right here on the Box on Beltway Podcast Network. We had a couple of events that took place during the week as well. Dorian Bostic, who's a super featherweight out of Dundalk, Maryland, he made his pro debut on Saturday, May 25th. And he won by first-round knockout over Galen Thomas of Wilson, North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Extravaganza. No word on the official time of the knockout, but Bostic seemed to dominate the contest, putting Thomas on his heels twice, and knocking him down twice before the bout was over. So Thomas is now 0-4. He has yet to get out of the first round, but Bostic made his pro debut successful. He'd been fighting amateur for a little bit of time, so congratulations to Dorian Bostic. Also, the return of Cecil McCullough out of Randallstown, Maryland. He's super welterweight. Unfortunately, didn't go very well. He lost a 10-round unanimous decision to Madyar Ashkayev of Kazakhstan. He is 12-0 now, and that took place at the Casino del Sol in Tucson, Arizona. He won. McCullough lost by unanimous decision. It was a good score, but nothing that he could overcome. So Cecil McCullough is now 21-4 with 8 KOs. So this is his first bout since November of 2018. So that's the recap for this past week. Now we move on to June, and we start our June schedule. And first, before we give you the full schedule and give you the preview of what's going to take place as we record this tomorrow, this will be at the Waldorf Culture Center in Waldorf, Maryland, 109 Post Office Road in Waldorf, Maryland. This will be a Cynation Sports card called King of the Ring 2. Yours truly will serve as ring announcer for this card. Looking forward to that. And actually, this will be my first time at the Waldorf Culture Center because the last time that Cynation Sports was there was on January 26th. It happens to be my wife's birthday, so I could not go for that one. So we'll have this card, and I'll be there for this one. Once again, Saturday, June 1st. Number of Beltway boxers on this card. Washington, D.C. super middleweight Gregory Glizzy Clark. He'll be in a 6-round contest against Aaron Casper of Augusta, Georgia. Now, Clark is both guys actually looking to break a 2-bout losing streak. Clark is 3-1, 1 KO. He, in his last outing, was knocked out in the first round by Edgar Berlanga, who I think has been knocking out everybody in the first round. That was on September 29th in Brooklyn, New York. Casper, who's actually originally from Baltimore, he's 5-2, 4 KOs. He's lost 2 in a row, as we said. He's coming off a 4-round majority decision loss to Darryl Jones. That was on May 10th in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's the 6-round contest. Gregory Glizzy Clark against Aaron Casper. Arlington, Virginia, super middleweight Filip Stankovic. He'll be in a 6-round encounter against Patrick Pierre of New Orleans, Louisiana. Stankovic is a native of Niš, Serbia. He's 4-1, 1 KO. And he'll look to bounce back from that first pro loss, which is a 6-round unanimous decision defeat to Vaughn Alexander. That was on the last card at the Waldorf Culture Center on January 26th. Pierre is 3-7, 1 KO. He last fought on April 26th. He lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Benny Sinekin on April 26th in Philadelphia. Now, another couple of Beltway boxers on the card. Salisbury, Maryland, welterweight Nasty Nigel Fennell. He'll be in a 4-round contest. He's looking for an opponent for that card, though. He's 3-0, 3 KOs. He competes for the first time in the Beltway after scoring a first-round TKO over Jared Walden on February 9th at Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. Also, Lusby, Maryland lightweight Nathaniel Lee Davis. He'll make his pro debut against equally debuting Alex Rivera. And there'll be a women's contest. Super lightweight Michelle Nogue of Chesapeake, Virginia. She'll be in a 4-round bout against debuting Dasha Ragland. Nogue lost her pro debut on the last card in Waldorf on January 26th. She lost it to Destiny Dayon. Destiny Dayon was supposed to be on this card, but she's no longer on the card. And the same can also be said for Nathaniel the Juggernaut Copeland. He was scheduled to be on this card. Had a good pro debut, a very impressive pro debut. He needed just 44 seconds to knock out Kwesi Horton at the Tyson's Playground in Vienna, Virginia on December 15th. But he will not be on the card. That's a late change there. Also on the card will be a 6-rounder with super featherweight Oscar Moreno of Mexico City, Mexico. He'll take on Eric Manriquez of Houston, Texas. Moreno's 7-0, 6 KOs. He last fought on October 6th. He scored a second-round TKO over Dakota Laster in Louisville, Kentucky. Manriquez is 6-1, 3 KOs, winless in his last 8 bouts, winless in his last 8 bouts, including a 6-round unanimous decision to Stalin Cordero. That was on March 16th in Juncos, Puerto Rico. So that is the card as we know it right now. I'll be heading to the weigh-in this afternoon at 5 o'clock. I'm not sure it's open to the public, but if it is, come on through. And it'll be 5 o'clock at the Waldorf Culture Center. And I believe the show is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. No broadcast this week. And I'll be handling the post-fight wrap-up show immediately following the card. I'll be handling solo. And I'll be for a little bit of time. My partner, Juan Marshall, having a little health issue. So we wish him well. And he's going to take some time off and get back to where he normally is. And I know he'll be doing a lot of blogging, but as far as going out to the cards, he's going to take some time off a little bit. So we wish him well on that as well. Now let's take a look at the June schedule. We've had 2 very busy months in the Beltway, in April and in May. And June doesn't give us a whole lot of rest. I mean, June's schedule isn't as big as May's was with Jared Hurd and Gary Russell fighting in June. Plus we had 3 cards in 4 weeks, and we had a lot of things going on. But we're still very busy, and it's going to be all in the state of Maryland this month because we go to Waldorf, Fort Washington, and Laurel. Of course, we talked about the card Waldorf, Maryland, Saturday, June 1st. So we have 2 more cards after that. We'll get to those as we go through the schedule. On Saturday, June 8th at the Expo 5 Arena in Louisville, Kentucky, to Maryland middleweight Linwood Mr. Composure Dozier. He'll be in a 6-round bout against undefeated Derek Coleman Jr. of Detroit, Michigan. I believe he's not related to Derek Coleman, who played basketball for Syracuse. Dozier is 10-22-3 with 5 KOs. He's winless in his last 11 bouts, including a 4-round unanimous decision loss to Justin Steeves. That was on May 4th in Washington, Pennsylvania. Coleman is 6-0, 4 KOs. He fought his last contest also on May 4th. Scored a first-round knockout over Zachariah Kelly in Indianapolis, Indiana. So Linwood Mr. Composure Dozier trying to get a win against an undefeated boxer. He's fought a lot of those in his career. He's a gatekeeper. He's had some tough luck as of late, so hopefully he can make that change a little bit this coming on June 8th. Now on Thursday, June 20th at the Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, there'll be 2 Beltway boxers on this card. And it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do because they're in situations where one is trying to make his way back to contention. The other one isn't in contention, but he needs big wins to get himself closer to a title shot. That one is Temple Hills, Maryland middleweight now. Demetrius Big Meats Ballard. He's scheduled for a 10-round bout against the Latin kid Elias Espadas of Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. Ballard is undefeated. He's 20-0, 13 KOs, coming off a 5th-round TK victory over Victor Fonseca. That was on March 15th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Espadas is 18-4, 13 KOs. He last fought on April 5th. He won by 2nd-round TKO over Gabriel Lopez in his hometown of Merida, Mexico. Now, as you may know, Ballard is now with the folks over at Upton Boxing Gym, Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis. So that this is like their second fight with those guys over at Upton. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can get him closer to a title shot, like his now stablemate Gervonta Davis, the BA Super Featherweight champion. Meanwhile, on that same card, Waldorf, Maryland super lightweight Mike Yes Indeed Reed He'll be in an 8-round contest against an opponent to be determined. Reed is 24-2, 13 KOs. He got back on the winning track with a second-round knockout over Yardley Armenta Cruz. That was on April 25th in Indio, California. Reed has made some changes because he is now with the folks over at he is over with I believe the Hillcrest crew, and he's over. No, I'm sorry, he's over there with no excuse because his co-manager is Lamont Rhodes Sr. along with Ross Malovinsky at Keystone Boxing. So he's over there now. So we'll see what happens with Mike S&D Reed when he gets an opponent for this card. That'll be on Thursday, June 20th at the Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, second Beltway Boxing card of the month will take place on Saturday, June 22nd at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. This will be a Shabazz Brothers card, scheduled to feature a number of Baltimore boxers, including heavyweight Hasim Gold-Blooded Rockman Jr. He's 7-0, 4 KOs. Super middleweight Devin Bite Butcher is on the card. He's 6-3, 3 KOs. The return of super bantamweight Glenn DeZern is 9-2 1, 6 KOs. And cruiserweight Musin Kasim, the older brother Hasim Rahman Sr., who was very prominent at the card at Oxon Hill last Saturday because he trains Michael the Bounty Hunter, and he's got him going very well. But Musin Kasim now 4-0, 2 KOs. Also on the card, return to Columbia, Maryland cruiserweight Kwame Rambo Ritter. He's 3-0, 2 KOs. All these guys looking for opponents. So we'll give you, once we get the matchups for that card, we'll give you a full preview. But that's Saturday, June 22nd, Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. This is Shabazz Brothers card. We hope to have a broadcast of that card, by the way, on that night. Also on June 22nd, at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Owings Mills, Maryland heavyweight Kobe Mad Dog Madison. He'll be in his very first 8-round encounter when he takes on Robert Sims of Saginaw, Michigan. Madison's 8-0-2, 5 KOs, coming off a second-round TKO victory over Emilio Salas on March 29th in Philadelphia. Sims is 8-3, 3 KOs, recently had a 3-bout winning streak snap. He lost an 8-round majority decision to George Arias. That was on March 2nd in Columbus, Ohio. So that's Kobe Mad Dog Madison back in action. And we'll see what happens with him on Saturday, June 22nd at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then our third and final Beltway Boxing card takes place on Saturday, June 29th at the Gardens Ice House in Laurel, Maryland. Now, this is a GQ Promotions card, and I know people remember my beef with them, but that beef has been squashed long ago, and so we are reporting on their cards again. We hope to have a broadcast of that card as well on Saturday, June 29th. Like you said, a number of Beltway boxing scheduled for this card. Montgomery Village, Maryland welterweight in the GQ and GQ Promotions, Jerome Quigley Jr. He's 18-0, 16 KOs. He's scheduled to be on the card, along with Greenbelt, Maryland cruiserweight Vanilla Gorilla Sam Crossett. He's 8-0, 5 KOs. Elkridge, Maryland lightweight, the Red Comet Dante Cox, 3-1, 2 KOs. Cisco Kid Francisco Bustos, the middleweight from Rockville, Maryland, 9-0, 6 KOs. Hagerstown, Maryland super middleweight, the sexy Albanian Yank Plana, 4-0, 2 KOs. Fort Washington, Maryland super middleweight, Platinum Power, Leo Alcanera is 2-0. Washington, D.C. welterweight, Cornell Hitman Hines will be on the card. He's 5-0, 2 KOs. And Bowie, Maryland welterweight, Marlon the Machine Bolin, also on the card, 2-0, 1 KO. So again, they're all looking for opponents. So once again, we give you a full preview of that once the matchups are in place for that card. So that is the schedule for the month of June, and that's going to be very interesting to see what's going on. And again, like I said, not big as far as prestige is concerned, but Maryland is on a roll. Maryland is on a roll because they had a number of cards. They've had Rosecroft card in April, had a couple cards in May, including had one card in May, and that was the big card at the MGM National Harbor, and now 3 cards in June. So Maryland, and Patrick Mel wants me to talk more about Maryland. Tells me you talk about DC all the time, but you don't talk about Maryland. Well, I talk about Maryland right now because Maryland is on a roll. And again, with the locations they have now, I mean, and again, we talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating that the separation between DC and Maryland, for example, and primarily, is that DC has the boxers, and now Maryland has the locations. And the location that Maryland, that DC does have, for example, the Cynation Sports Arena, as new as that place is, that's not an easy place to get to. What I mean by that is, it, excuse me, you can get there by Metro. It's right near the Congress Heights area, and that's fine. The parking there is really kind of weird. It really is. There's no rhyme or reason to the parking there. So, although the experience inside is wonderful, the experience outside is not so much. A lot of the places in the Beltway that they use, that are being used, can be accessible by Metro, but if you decide to drive or can't get to a Metro, you're out of luck. So DC Armory is a great location for putting a boxing card there. Except in the summertime when there's no air conditioning, which I've always wondered why that's the case, but be that as it may. But, you can get there by Metro, which is fine, which is a subway system for those who don't know. Sphinx Club, same thing. You can get there by Metro. It's a walk from the Metro to get there, but it's not a bad walk. I do it all the time because there's no place to park over there. Okay, that's another reason. Some of the locations, there's no place really to park, or the parking is very limited, and so now you got to pay for it. So it's easier to get there by Metro. Okay, whereas Maryland, there are places there that's just so easy to get in and get out of, like the MGM National Harbor. Maryland Live is pretty easy as well. There's parking lots at Martin's West and Michael's 8th Avenue, and I'm assuming, although this is near a warehouse situation, the Waldorf Culture Center has relatively easy parking there. It's maybe not a whole lot, but they have relatively easy parking there. So, that's the difference. That's a big difference. And Maryland has been able to use a lot of their venues, even some ones they haven't used before, if ever. The Gardens Ice House is the second show over the Gardens Ice House. The second show for the Waldorf Culture Center. So they're always trying to find new venues. Now, DC has that opportunity. Of course, with the Cynation Sports Arena, they've done that. And they may try the Anthem, which is in Southwest DC. So hopefully they can try to use that venue as well. So once again, we on a roll. We got some big things coming up in the latter part of the summer that I tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun here. I can't talk about it now, but there's going to be some great things coming in the latter part of summer. No question about that. So stay with us each and every week right here on the Beltway Boxing Podcast Network. Give you great news and notes. Also live blow-by-blow commentary, and also just regular commentary that I try to give you at least each and every week. So that'll do it here for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Reminder, we are brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, she has great weight loss tips and great jewelry on Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams, reminding you as always to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. We'll see you Saturday at the Cultural Center. Take care, everyone.